Mental health in athletics is a topic that's been thrust into the spotlight after several prominent athletes have shared their personal struggles. In the past few months, at least 5 NCAA student athletes have taken their own lives. I spoke with 2 incredibly brave student athletes who shared their stories in hopes it helps others struggling in silence.
I thought I'd, be living my dream and be like the happiest person ever. And deep down inside, I felt like I was missing something and I didn't know what it was. But I hid it. I hid it so well behind a smile and behind the image of a Division I softball player.
I felt alone, and I had people here, but it was just I was too scared to say anything or ask for help because I was more ashamed of their response.
Nikki Ramirez and Kaylee Johnson are both Division I student athletes at Lamar University. Both have openly shared their struggles with mental health, and both advocate for the importance of seeking help.
I still struggle with anxiety. I still do. But I know that I'm not alone, and I just want everyone else that is struggling with stuff like that to know that the first step is asking for help.
When Nikki first came to Beaumont, Texas to play softball for the Cardinals, it was a dream come true. However, as her first year at the collegiate level progressed, it was clear to her that something was wrong.
I didn't get help, and then I went into season, and it got worse. And I started separating myself from my friends, the people I love the most.
Just before Nikki was set to play her first conference game in a Cardinal uniform, she overdosed, was discovered by her teammates, and rushed to the hospital. Nikki's family drove in from San Antonio, and Lamar softball head coach Amy Hooks met her in the emergency room.
She told me, she said, "Nikki, I need you to give me all you got and fully commit to getting better." And I told her, okay. And that meant having to spend about a week in a mental health facility.
I think the most challenging thing I've ever been through was visiting Nikki in the mental hospital and thinking, why is my girl, that's what I kept saying, why is my girl in here? And she said she didn't belong, and I felt like, gosh, she doesn't belong in here. But at that moment she did. She needed help, and she had to get that help to overcome and be even stronger through it.
After leaving the facility, life continued to test Nikki as she worked to become healthy. The COVID-19 pandemic shut down the softball season, taking away the game she loved the most. Then an ankle injury would cause her to miss more time on the field.
I have this tattoo that I got right after everything. It says, "This does not define me." And I knew that none of my failures, none of my past was going to define me. Throughout all this, I found clarity, and I want to be a sports psychologist, so I changed my major to psychology. I want to be able to help other people that struggled with the same thing I have.
The hardest thing you can do is walk through my door and close it and say, hey, I need help. And we're all in on it. We're going to help you, whatever we need to do to get that help. And I think Nikki's story shows you we're never going to give up on you. In the time where we could have said, you're just not going to be able to control this, you might need to find a different place. I told her, I remember telling her in the hospital, we're going to get through it, and you're still going to be here.
Across campus, freshman hurdler Kaylee Johnson is hard at work, looking to establish herself at the collegiate level.
I'm very grateful for this experience, this opportunity. Coming here, I had no offers, nothing. So coming here was kind of like a second chance. This is where I get to prove myself and kind of rebrand myself.
Despite the opportunity, Kaylee had her own struggles.
I can say the biggest hurdle that I've had to go over probably in my whole life is self-love and self-confidence and just believing in myself. And that's something that I'm still working on today, and it's something that's not easy, and it does not happen overnight.
Trey Clark has dedicated decades of his life to coaching track and field. As head coach of the Cardinals, mental health is not a topic he shies away from.
Kaylee's story is not unique. There's a lot of athletes over the years who have self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues.
For Kaylee, the scariest part was sharing her struggle with Coach Clark.
Will he understand? Because, first of all, he's a man, I will say that. but also it's just he's your coach, so I don't want to overshare and then make you feel like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But it was the complete opposite. It was more like of an open arms, an embrace, and that's really what I needed, and that's really what helped.
Kaylee shared that having a coach who is open and caring can make all the difference.
At the University of Houston, before I ran my race, the hurdles, I was crying, scared, talking to Coach Clark. I was like, I'm just so scared. And he told me, whatever you do, I'm gonna love you no matter what. I'm gonna be here and we're gonna eat pizza after. And then after that, I was like, okay. I ran my PB, I did great, and after that I ran, screamed, gave him a hug, and cried and let it all out. And it was the best feeling, just to feel like I did it. And I didn't even believe in myself, but to know that somebody else did, it was enough for me to push through.
After the race, when she runs a lifetime best, I see her jumping up and down, I see her crying, and I see her eyes zeroed in on me. And she ran about 50 yards, about as fast as I've ever seen her run. And I got worried because I thought she is about to run me over. And so in that moment, it was quite the collision, but those are the moments that as a coach I cherish the most.
Both Kaylee and Nikki were able to get the help they needed because they had the courage to ask. And they had a support network guide them through. But questions remain. How many other athletes are struggling in silence? How do we reach each and every one of them?
Check in with them. There's been many times since what's happened with Nikki that I just ask, how's everything else going? And girls have broken down and it was like, thank you so much for asking. And it's just a simple thing that we can ask, you know, how's everything going? Because she's not gonna be the last person that has to deal with something like this. So I think she's helped me be more equipped for it. I don't know that I know the perfect solution for it, but I can be there and help them through it.
What Kaylee has shared is the story that many people also have and have had for generations. But for years, nobody wanted to talk about it.
Both Coach Clark and Coach Hooks have set aside time to focus on the mental aspect of the sport.
We do Mental Mondays of just helping them be in better spots, not just in softball, but in life, in the classroom. So how to deal with things, how to find your solutions and not stay in the moment of all the bad.
Thanks to the continuous support from family, friends, teammates, and coaches, and the willingness to accept help, Nikki Ramirez and Kaylee Johnson are succeeding. Their stories are gut-wrenching and inspirational. It's not just about achieving a personal best on the track or smashing another home run. Simply being able to put on a Cardinal uniform and compete in a sport they love, that is a true victory. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among college students, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Success on the field can often mask the personal pain these athletes are experiencing. James Madison softball player Lauren Bennett was named the Colonial Athletic Conference Player of the Week just a day before taking her own life. Wisconsin track and field athlete Sarah Scholes was on the Big Ten All-Academic team for the past 2 years when she took her own life. Stanford goalkeeper and team captain Katie Meyer took her own life in March. We hope Nikki and Kaylee's story have shined a light on mental health awareness. If you are struggling, know that it is okay to ask for help. For Learn, Compete, Inspire, I'm Kendra Sheehan.